and we're live now. Like the desk was always like a little bit funky or something like that. And I just put a 25-pound weight on there and it was like solved immediately. So who knows later on, right? Stuff like that.
Next time, yep.
But I'm super psyched to have you on the line. Nathan Hirsch, you're based out of Boston, Massachusetts, right?
Orlando, Florida. I'm from Massachusetts originally.
You're in Orlando. So I'm in Miami. I'm like 3 hours south of you, by the way, or 4 hours, right?
Awesome.
Yeah, and I was just in like Fort Lauderdale. I've been to AdCon, I guess like the Tampa, Orlando area and stuff like that. But you've got like a crazy interesting story. You were in college and you started the Amazon FBA or something like that. And honestly, like I've only heard about this stuff. I don't know anything about it, but apparently like millionaires are made overnight by like Amazon. So like, hell, maybe you could start the journey and start talking about that.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me. My parents were both teachers growing up. So I always grew up with the mentality that I was going to go to school, get a job, work for 40 years and retire. You know the drill. And that's what they did. And they're loving life right now and they're retired. But I never wanted to do that. And it was never more evident than when during summer vacations, I was working 40, 50 hours every week. My parents made me get a job. They made me pay for everything. And I learned a ton about managing people and sales and customer service. But I also realized what the real world's actually like when you're working for someone else and just watching the clock every single day. Mm-hmm. And I knew I hated it. I knew that I would always be miserable if that was going to be my life. So when I got to college, I started hustling and I started buying and selling people's textbooks using the money that I had made over the summers, competing with my school bookstore.
Yeah.
And they didn't like that very much. They actually sent me a cease and desist letter because I was taking up so much of their business. But books really got me into Amazon. I mean, back then, this was 2008. So Amazon was a bookstore just becoming a little bit more. I thought it was so cool. I could have this 24/7 shop and do customer service and everything. And I just had to figure out what products to sell because I couldn't sell books forever. And honestly, they were heavy. I didn't even have any place to put them. So I started experimenting with stuff that guys like sporting equipment, computers, DVDs, and I just failed over and over and over. And it wasn't until I branched out of my comfort zone and by accident one day came across baby products that I started to make sales. And I focused all my attention on the baby industry. And before I knew it, I was running this multi-million-dollar baby product business out of my college dorm room as a 20-year-old single college guy, if you can imagine that.
So when you're doing like Amazon FBA and things like that, well, taking a step back, you got started because like you started buying and selling textbooks and competing with the textbook store on campus that everybody hates because it's like sure, I have to buy a book for $300 and sell it back same condition for like $3, right? Yeah. And you kind of like got an experience there, but then you realize like maybe there's more, and you tried buying and selling on Amazon. You tried a bunch of stuff, it didn't work, but one day you hit that like the baby niche, right, or something like that, and then it all took off. So how did you like figure that out? I guess like was there a course? Did you take like a textbook? Did you fail it forward? Like how did you get used to or moving into that Amazon FBA space? I'm asking in case like somebody watching is like, oh, I want to go on that journey too.
Well, there's a lot of courses. There's a lot of gurus. A lot of the people that we partner with FreeeUp do a great job teaching Amazon. But back then, there was nothing. No one knew what Amazon was. No one knew what it was going to become. People thought I was running a scam. I mean, like there was no comprehension for being an Amazon seller. So there was nothing to go off of. It was just trial and error until I got it to work and came up with a system that was scalable.
Gotcha. And were there like one of the first bullet points is like the 3 things that you did to go from that like, aha, oh my God, baby things are working to what was it like $25 million in sales through Amazon, right?
Yeah.
So what was that like looking back? Were there like 3 or 4 things you did right, 3 things that you did wrong? Like what was that journey like going from like, holy shit, it worked to I can't believe we're doing over $2 million a month type thing?
Yeah, the first thing was customer service. I had the privilege of working at Firestone as an intern. And I don't know if you've ever been to a Firestone tires, but they're all about customer service. They really are. They preach it. I went through training on it. So, and we both know that Amazon loves customer service, right?
Yep.
So I had this huge advantage that I had a customer service background and I put everything into it. I made our customer service team incredible. People would email us. They would get a response back in an hour with a solution, no questions asked, returns, refunds. It really wasn't focused on short-term profit. It was all about making sure people are happy, making sure they're coming back, make sure that we don't get bad reviews and that we're getting positive ones. Mm-hmm. And I think having that big picture mindset instead of trying to save every dollar in the short term really helps you scale. It might not help you in the first few months, but long-term, that mentality, people recognize it. And very similar with FreeeUp. I mean, when we started, we're a startup. We make mistakes. We're hiring freelancers. Freelancers make mistakes. I mean, 99% of the time they do a great job, but there's always going to be that issue that comes up. And it's how you handle that. Do you go back and forth with the client? Do you fight with them? Do you try to prove a point, or do you just make it right and move on and keep the client happy and get more of them? And I think agency owners out there that are listening, it's such a different mindset to get out of. Where you're just like, hey, listen, the customer is not always right, but it's in your best interest to make the customer happy so that they keep doing business and referrals and everything that goes along with that.
Let me ask you this then. So like, I guess, so like, we'll focus like the next 10 minutes on the Amazon FBA, because I think it's like pivotal for like you and your journey and for people watching and understanding. So you sold the first things and you have this like long history of customer service and support. So that made it important. Does that make Amazon send you more business? Does that make it easier for people to repeat buy? Or is there like some technical reason why like great customer service and support is like great for business? So like what I mean is like, I know Amazon ranks, right? But does doing better customer service and support climb you higher up in the rankings? Or does that just mean people are more apt to buy from you and because of you have like higher customer lifetime value and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's a few different things. First of all, Amazon has very specific metrics that if you don't hit them, if you're getting too many returns or too many negative reviews, they'll just shut your account down. So
really,
number one, it just keeps you in business. And back then, I mean, that was everything. I could wake up one day and just be completely shut down. You're dependent on Amazon. Number two is the buy box. And that it's a combination. It's a big formula that's always changing. And now it's way different than it was back then. But part of that formula is your metrics, is your customer service, is your feedback. And so that does help you get above or below competition. And then I'd say the third thing is just people look at reviews. People want to know that they can trust someone. And if they see someone at 99% and they see another seller at 92%, that can make a big difference. So it's a lot of different factors.
So what I always thought was pretty interesting, and like there's a bunch of books like right there, right, that talk about it, is like the way people buy is more people are like risk averse than they are risk friendly. Like it's easier for them to say no at something they are risking than say yes at something that like they could try. And my internet's being funky, right? But so like one of the bigger challenges with, I guess, growing an agency or e-commerce or something like that is those 1-star reviews. And you can do everything you can to stop them, but you can't always stop them. You can, however, drown them out with 5-star reviews. And having great customer service and support, I think that's part of it, right? Like that's why you end up having like, I guess, $25 million in revenue from Amazon FBA, which blows my mind, right? I think that's so cool.
Yeah, quick clarification. So I was actually doing drop shipping, not FBA. A ton of our clients do FBA, but I was doing drop shipping. Doesn't really matter. Same thing applies. I would even say that customer service is more important when you're doing drop shipping because you have less control. You're not actually touching the product. You have to handle returns and ship them to your manufacturer, and it can be a pain. So customer service is even more evident, whereas FBA, Amazon is handling a lot of that.
Gotcha. Okay, very, very cool. So so you're in college, you're buying and selling textbooks, you get a cease and desist letter, and you go, all right, now what, right? And you think maybe I could do this on Amazon, and you build out an Amazon drop shipping business, and you hit, I guess, $25 million in sales. Was there something that happened that made you say, I'm going to transition to FreeeUp, to Upwork, and then try it out, and then move to FreeeUp? What was that journey from going from your Amazon business doing $25 million a year and then saying, oh, I'm going to move into trying freelancers, trying Upwork, and then moving into FreeeUp?
Yeah, and it kind of goes with my second point of how I was able to scale, and that's hiring good people. I mean, I remember as my business was scaling for the first time, I was making money. I had to start paying taxes, and I met with an accountant for the first time. And one of the first questions he asked me was, when are you going to hire your first person? And I said, why would I do that? That's money out of my pocket. They're going to steal my ideas. They're not going to do a good job. They're not going to care about the business. I love this. I can do this 7 days a week. Why would I hire someone else? And he just laughed in my face. And he pretty much said, you're going to learn this lesson on your own. So sure enough, busy season comes around, fourth quarter, and I just get destroyed. I'm working 20 hours a day, answering emails, listing products, filling orders, and somehow I make it through to January with my grades plummeting and my social life gone. And I come out the other side and I think to myself, I can never let this happen again. I need to start hiring people. So I'm in college. I post a job on Facebook, and someone from my business law class messages me and says, hey, I need a job. I heard you're hiring. I have no
Really?
idea what you do. So I hire him, and it works out great. He's my business partner today. We've been working together for 8 years. He hit the ground running right from the beginning, really lucked out. And I think, wow, this is so easy. You just post a job on Facebook. Someone shows up, boom, you scale your business, and your life becomes easier. But I proceed to just make bad hire after bad hire after bad hire, which really hurt me. And I quickly realized that college kids, not very reliable. No 30-year-old expert wanted to work for me as a young entrepreneur. So I got thrown into the freelancer space, the Upworks, the Fivers, and virtual assistants from all over the world. And I got really good at it, but it also just took up so much of my time, just posting a job and getting 50 people to apply, interviewing them. And my time really shifted from growing and expanding to interview after interview after interview. And I remember one day I picked up a chair and tossed it against the wall. And after doing like 8 hours of interviews and not finding the right fit, and I thought there just had to be a better way. And I searched for it and I couldn't find it. So I built it myself with FreeeUp.
Gotcha. So I've gone through a similar journey. So I had 2 part-time people working in the office here, and like the whole scenario was like they were asking me what they should be doing, and I'm like, I don't know. You guys are adults. That's why I hired you. You figure it out, right? So like I immediately realized like in my core, I'm where you are, which is like I'm not good at hiring people, right? I just know that. I get it. I understand it. And so I had the same challenge like when it comes to growing, scaling Facebook ads, building out new Facebook ads, running campaigns, active campaign monitors, metrics, and all that. And so what I ended up doing, and this is a mistake that I made, which Emily Hirsch talked about at the Bob Mangat event, is that what entrepreneurs tend to do is they just hire entrepreneurs. And guess what happens? These people are entrepreneurs, which means they're going to start their own agency, right? They're going to do something different. They're not going to do the job that you need. And that was like a big learning lesson for me. And I guess you went through the same thing too. You lucked out with that first guy. But then you said you tried hiring people, right? Like you went through all these interviews and then you tried hiring freelancers. And that's where you ran into problems with Upwork, right? So can you talk about that for a little bit? Like that experience, that journey, hiring freelancers online and things like that?
Yeah, and it's not Upwork in specific. It's lots of different marketplaces out there. It's just time. I mean, it's pretty much just a big database of applicants. And yes, you can leave reviews, but reviews can be manipulated. And people always look good when you talk to them for the first time. And you're filtered through all these people with all these other clients competing with those people. You hire them, and let's say you make a good hire and you really like them, and one day they quit on you. You're right back where you started interviewing all these people again with no protection. I mean, you can always make more money, but you can't get your time back. And I think that was my big realization is I need a way to just cut out how long it takes me to get access to talent. If I need a graphic designer, I want to be able to click a few buttons, get a graphic designer sent to me, and start the work, not start the work in 2 weeks when I find the person that I want.
It's like, Nathan, you're saying the words that I'm thinking. Like, this was a problem 2 weeks ago. Now they're talking to me. They should have been talking to me 2 weeks ago when I fucking button. But yeah, that's a constant challenge. And I've tried hiring on back before, like they merged Freelancer and Upwork. There's 2 or 3 others, things like that. And it's a constant scenario of, you just exchange Loom videos back and forth, right? Or you try to communicate by text or email, which never really quite works. And then it's like, I spent so much time trying to communicate the idea, getting somebody to understand it, and then doing it, that I could have just done it myself, which is like, I guess the agency challenge, like people who build agencies that are entrepreneurial, people that want to get stuff done, which makes them a good agency, are different than the people that can hire correctly, right? But you transitioned from the Amazon FBA, Amazon dropshipping, into FreeeUp. So can you talk about like that, like what FreeeUp does, how it solves those problems and things like that?
Yeah, so we had built this really good hiring process. We had spent 5 years perfecting it. And we really realized that you can't just hire people for skill. You have to hire people for attitude and communication as well. People who are positive and passionate about what they do and not just in it for the paycheck and don't get aggressive the second that something doesn't go their way, but also people that can communicate, that can hit deadlines, hit estimates, let you know if there's an emergency, that can obviously speak your language at a high level, that things don't turn into he said, she said down the line. So we had built this process and we had come up with the idea, what if the entry into the marketplace is to get through our vetting process? So the people that get in not only are honest about the skills that what they can and cannot do, but they also have a great attitude and great communication skills. And then we're going to back that up to make sure that people are protected, because I mean, this is real life. These are real people. I think I just hit my desk again. So the whole concept is we get thousands of applicants every week. We vet them for the skill, attitude, communication, let in 1 out of every 100 applicants. Once they're in, clients get rapid, quick fire to them whenever they need them. They just put in a request, and we have clients who get started within hours or minutes. There's no sign-up fee. There's no monthly fee. There's no minimums. You can stop using us at any time. I mean, it's in our best interest to get you people that you actually like. Plus throw in, I'm pretty easy to contact, but we have 24/7 support, live chat, Skype, email, if you have even the smallest issue, and a no turnover guarantee. If someone does quit on you, God forbid, we cover all replacement costs and get you a new person right away. So that was the concept. And we started doing it part-time and experimenting with the idea, and it really took off.
So what's interesting is is there like a name for that? Like, we'll cover the next hire, like whatever, like term or brand or something like that? Like, is there a branded term for that type of idea?
We call it our no turnover guarantee.
Gotcha. So that was like a big challenge for me, because constantly I would hire like a Facebook ads guy or gal. They look at the campaigns, make 2 or 3 changes, great, fine, perfect. And then be like 30, 40 days before I get a response. Me knowing that they've already gone onto some other project, right? And so Upwork was no help and Freelance was no help. And so I have to start all over again. But the reason your unique marketing pitch or unique selling position or whatever it's called, like USP, UPS, whatever it is, right, is saying, we are just going to have a no turnover guarantee, which is if somebody leaves, we'll find somebody else for you and cover those costs. Is that like the right scenario, right? That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we also, you mentioned people not responding. We have a lot of terms of use of the platform to protect not just the clients, but the freelancers as well. But one of them is freelancers have to respond within a business day at all times. So if you're a client, you don't have to wait a week. If you don't hear back from the person within a business day, you can contact our support and we'll contact them. I mean, things happen, emails go to spam, like it's life, but they should be responding within a business day, and for the most part they do.
Very, very cool. So so we went over like how you transitioned from like a broke college kid buying and selling textbooks and getting cease and desist to, I guess, stumbling into Amazon drop shipping and what was it, like, I guess, baby stuff? Is that the right? Is it his internet or mine? Is it his internet or mine? Is it my internet?
I don't know. You froze for a second, but I think you're back.
It's probably mine. Look, I bought their biggest package, and it's every other day this crap. And I don't understand it. I think it's just like the building, because they run all the tests and the line is good to the building, right? Who knows? But it'll come back. So it was baby niche and it was nursing and things like that. And then as you went through like the hiring scenario and challenge, you realized that there has to be a better way. You got one lucky hire, and it was just constant challenges back and forth ever since. And you tried going in this journey, and then you just set up FreeeUp to solve specifically those problems. And for anybody watching this, drop in your questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, ideas. We're going to move into Q&A now. And if you've ever wanted to ask Nathan a question on his journey, now is the time. But before we go into that, and we're just going to let the questions stack up on the side, you've grown FreeeUp from essentially zero to how much per month now?
So we bill about $200,000 a week, a little bit more. So $800,000 a month.
That's absolutely insane. And like FreeeUp is less than a year old, you said?
No, so this is year 3 of FreeeUp. But we did about
this is year 3
in revenue in the first year.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're like, so as you go through that, I guess the second entrepreneurial journey, are there specific things that you've learned going from 0 to 800 grand a month? Are there things that you wish you had done before? Or for anybody watching this, starting their own, I guess you could say like software as a platform or whatever, like the agency or the freelancer model is. If somebody's like going on that journey, are there 3 or 4 things you can say like, do this, don't do that, or lessons that you learned going from 0 to 800K a month?
Yeah, I mean, it almost goes back to the original thing that we talked about. I mean, the first thing is great customer service. That was the core back 3 years ago. It's still the core foundation now. I mean, we know that if we don't treat the freelancers well, there's plenty of other places they can go. And if we don't make it a place that the clients are happy, then there's other marketplaces too. So customer service is that key. We mentioned, what was number 2? Number 3 is just networking and connections and podcasts. Yep. What was number 2 for that?
I don't remember. It's recorded. I know that, but I don't remember.
Oh, man. So number 3 is networking and connections and podcasts and really trying to get in front of other people's communities and just building partnerships. We live in a landscape that's very competitive, And I think some people lose sight that you can build relationships that are mutually beneficial. And I did that on the Amazon business when we built partnerships with manufacturers and got better pricing and access to different goods. And same thing on the FreeeUp side, where we work with marketing influencers, Amazon influencers, real estate influencers. You get in with different people, different crowds. You take really good care of their clients. You provide great content, and it really benefits everyone at the end of the day. I'm going to think of number 2 shortly.
Yeah, it'll just pop up in our heads. So can you walk me through, so let's say I'm a freelancer, I'm interested in FreeeUp.
Hiring people is number 2. How did we forget that? We hired really good people. I mean, freelancers bill me about 1,200 hours a week now. So I really practice what I preach in hiring really good people to handle all aspects of the business.
That's absolutely insane. I'm super psyched to hear that, by the way. Like, hearing somebody that made it to the other side just like gets me excited. But like, can you go into like, so let's say there's a freelancer watching this interview right now, and they've got space for like 2, 3, or 4 more clients. What is the FreeeUp vetting process like for that future freelancer?
Yeah, so you can submit an application right on the site. It'll ask you a lot of questions about your background, your skills, what services you want to offer on the platform. We'll review the application. We'll invite you for an interview if you pass. We do a one-on-one interview where we have a lot of skill questions and tests for you. We also test for attitude and have different things to talk to you about pretty much how you offer your services in your business.
Yeah.
And if you pass that, we have 15 pages of communication best practices based on my own hiring experience that you have to memorize and get tested on before you get into the platform. And once you get on the platform, it's pretty easy to get kicked off. I mean, skill-wise, if you're experimenting on our clients or taking things that you don't know how to do, poor attitude, or bad communication skills, it's very fast to get kicked out.
Very interesting. So that makes it easier for the clients to stick around longer because they've got, I guess you'd say, freelancers that have a vested interest in staying around longer, that have already been pre-vetted. And don't you have like a skills table of like how much stuff normally costs or something like that? When I saw that, like that blew my mind. Like I didn't have to like argue about hours or something like that. You're like, oh, it's almost a flat rate, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, so the freelancers set their own prices on the marketplace. You can negotiate, you can agree to fixed prices. I created an infographic that is constantly evolving. If you go to freeup.com with 3 E's/pricing, and I tried to capture ballpark pricing for different things. And I mean, some people might be lower, some people might be higher, but for the most part, it's a good gauge into where the market is right now. And I also like to say that there's 3 different levels of people to hire. And I think this is helpful, especially for you agency owners out there. You've got the basic level, $5 to $10 an hour, non-US. When you think of outsourcing, these people are followers. They might have years of experience, but they're there to follow your systems, your processes. Mid-level people, 10 to 30, more specialized, graphic designers, bookkeepers, writers. You're not teaching someone to be a graphic designer, but they're not consulting with you either. And then the experts of 25 and up, they can consult, project manage, execute high-level game plans. So you've got these different levels, and as you build your agency, you're going to need to pull from all 3 levels and think of it like a Tetris that you're kind of putting the pieces into place to make it work and become scalable.
So that's interesting that you brought up those 3 tiers, because I made the mistake, and I bet everybody else here has made this mistake of saying, oh, just get a VA. That's like, great, we'll just get a VA. That'll save everything for the better. But you specifically tore that apart with just one sentence, which is, when you're hiring somebody for less than $5 to $10 an hour, they are following your lead. And if you don't have something to follow, they're not going to succeed. They're just going to follow like your errant processes of like firing one email with no guidance, and they're not going to be successful. And so when somebody's like that, they really need like the second or third tier. And so what I really like taking out from your statement is like, if you are an agency owner watching this interview and you want to hire or at least solve your problems by getting someone else to do it, you can't immediately get somebody outside of the US for $5 to $10. You get that after you've established steps, after you established a process, after you've established the thing that you're doing. And until you've done that, you're not going to have that person set up for success. Maybe you should be working with somebody that's like a tier 2 or even a higher than that, just so you can like understand their process and then make it your thing and then teach somebody else, which I thought was like pretty interesting. I don't know if you meant to say that, but that's how my brain's like interpreting it, right?
You summed it up really well.
Perfect, right? That worked out pretty well. All right, guys, so ask your comments, questions, and concerns, thoughts, ideas. We talked about 3 big things so far today. The first is we've talked about how Nathan went from a broke college kid to an Amazon dropshipper and making $25 million. I wanted to ask you, what was your experience scaling, going from, let's just say, like the first 3 months to the last 3 months Was it just like blood, sweat, and tears, tearing your hair out? I have no idea what I'm doing. Or was it like, click Facebook ads and all of a sudden your revenue goes up? What was that like experience like?
Well, I'm a workaholic, so I feel like anything I grow, it's because I go all in. And you always talk about hiring people to get your hours back. Well, there's two ways to go about that. You're either getting the hours back and transitioning into lifestyle, right? You spend more time with the family, more time traveling, or you get those hours back, and those hours now are focused towards expansion. And I've always been one where it's focused on expansion. So I was constantly working throughout that entire time, and I'm sure one day I'll have a family and maybe my priorities will be different, but that's really how I've attached business. But yeah, I mean, Amazon was great. I got in at an amazing time. We were doubling every year, and we grew from $1 million to $3 million to $5 million a year. And then we kind of maxed out around that $5 to $6 million a year. I mean, the courses, the gurus came out, the space became more competitive. Amazon became harder. So we're still doing good, but we're not doubling every year. So that's kind of how the trajectory went. And it's definitely one of the reasons why I pursued FreeeUp. I mean, I get to grow my own brand and work with clients all over the world and not be dependent on Amazon. And to be honest, I wasn't passionate about selling baby products back then. And I'm still not passionate about selling baby products. So it wasn't that hard to transition into something I was passionate about.
Gotcha. And so James Claybrooks asks, are you still active on Amazon? How did you exit the business? What was that experience like?
I'm not active on Amazon. I actually stopped in January this year. I had 3 business partners for my Amazon business. We transitioned it to one of them, and 2 of us, Connor and I, focused our sole attention on FreeeUp. We had been running FreeeUp and the Amazon business together for about 2 years. So we made that decision to be done with the Amazon business and focus on FreeeUp.
Gotcha. And as you were building FreeeUp, you built it out by going, I guess, like finding influencers, people that had a voice, using other people's market, OPM, right? Using other people's markets and voice, things like that. And that's how you're getting people into your freelancer FreeeUp, or was there like a different strategy altogether? Like, I guess you could say, how did you get your first chunk of people into FreeeUp buying and your first chunk of people into FreeeUp selling their services?
So I started in the Amazon space. I was familiar with the space. I knew people in the space, and I had a Rolodex of Amazon freelancers that I had used, that I had vetted already. So
gotcha. I
kind of approached the idea to people, hey, what if you just had fast access to talent? You need a lister, customer service rep? I got one right here, fast. And awesome, I'm saving so much time. So I created a referral program. And if you're an agency owner out there, I recommend having a referral program. And don't just say, oh, I have one. Put it in writing, put it on your website, make it official. For us, it's 50 cents for every hour we build with them forever. And that took off. People are referring their friends. Their influencers want to get involved and promote us. And so for the first year and a half, we didn't really even have a marketing budget. We got a ton of referrals. We went on a lot of podcasts. And from there, we posted a lot of content just about hiring and about using remote freelancers. And now we do all sorts of stuff, from our blog to our Facebook ads to Google to Instagram. But it really got off the ground with the basics of, hey, we have a great product with great customer service, and we're going to create an official referral program to get more people in the door.
Yeah, gotcha. So it's like the same organic then paid ad journey. So like I see a lot of people making this mistake is like they'll get an idea and then just start dropping paid ads into it. And like that really isn't the right way to do. You have to focus on like your offer and what's working. And the best way to do that is like organically, friends, family, and all that. Once you've got a core offer that works, then you put paid Facebook ads into it, which I think is like the right way to do it. But a question that just came up is, let's say I'm hiring somebody on a platform, whether it's Upwork or FreeeUp or Freelancer or like any of the different ones. Are there certain things that I should be doing or should not be doing to make that successful? Because you mentioned like you're paying to get your time back, but if you don't do it right, you're just like losing. You know what I mean? So are there things that I should be doing to make sure that works out in the best interest of everybody?
Yeah, so I have a 5-step hiring process, and you can probably see a video of this online, but I'll kind of sum it up. So the first step is identifying what you want to take off your plate and coming up with 2 lists, pretty much a list of day-to-day stuff that takes up a lot of your time that you want to get your hours back, so the basic level freelancers, or stuff you're just not good at. Where are your weaknesses? What are you doing that is outside of your core competency? And that's where you hire the mid-level and the experts. So step 1, identify what to take off your plate. Step 2, what does that perfect person look like? Are they an internal employee? Are they a remote freelancer? Are they an expert? Are they an agency? Are they working full-time, part-time? What's your price point? I mean, really define what your perfect person looks like, because if you don't know what you're looking for, it's going to be very hard to find it.
Yep.
Step 3, the interview for skill, attitude, communication. And we do a lot of that for you. So what you're going to be interviewing for is, hey, is this person the right fit for me? Because even the best freelancer in the world aren't the best fit for every single client out there. So you want to figure out, hey, is this person right for me? Step 4, where a lot of people mess up, is set expectations. Get on the same page right from the beginning. And I'll even scare people a little bit with my expectations because they're very high, but I don't want them to come to me 3 weeks later and be like, sorry, I can't hit this. This is unreasonable. I want to find that out right from the start. And step 5, which again, a lot of people miss, is that feedback loop. These freelancers are working for lots of different clients. Every client has their own idea of what's good, what's bad, what they like, what they don't like. So you have to constantly be giving feedback and give people a chance to revise and improve and tweak what they need to, or what they do to fit your needs. So follow that 5-step process and you'll have a lot of good hiring experiences.
So I've been on the receiving end of somebody who didn't follow that. Like, they expected me to respond immediately, get stuff done immediately. And my expectation was like, no, it'll get done today when I'm fucking ready to get it done, right? That was like the thought in my head, right? But they had totally different expectations. So it didn't quite work out. I mean, they still paid, but it was a great example of like, I mean, sometimes they just call it cultural fit, which is like a masking for like, we didn't talk about it before we got into it type thing. So for people watching this, make sure you go over those like 5 things before you hire a real life human being. Kareem, who just joined the Inner Circle, asks, is there a minimum project budget to get started with FreeeUp? And on average, what does that hiring process look like and how long does it take to find the right freelancer?
Yeah, so there's no minimums, there's no sign-up fee, there's no maximums. You can stop using us at any time. In terms of how does it work, you can create a free account, and we're about to give out a little promotion there. Takes a minute to sign up on the platform, put in a request. We call it a freelancer request. Takes another minute. It asks some questions so we know exactly what you want. Within a business day, we introduce you to someone. You can meet with them, make sure you like them. If you like them, click hire, and you're good to go. If you don't, you can click pass and provide feedback, and we'll get you someone else based on that feedback. You can also negotiate or agree to fixed prices. And then from there, our billing period is Wednesday to Tuesday. We charge you every Thursday only for any hours you use, and you have a full week to dispute anything before we pay the freelancer. And we have clients who get started with people within hours or minutes of putting in their request. We're pretty fast. That's
super interesting. So like for most people in this group and on this that are watching this right now or later on, they are in the Facebook ads agency space. So are there like a set series of tasks that like you should just be sending this out the door, stop wasting your time in it? Like in my head, I'm like, stop setting up active campaign. That's easy as snot. Like, don't spend 3 hours trying to drag it correctly. Send it out for $5. So like, is there like a standard series of tasks that somebody who's doing a Facebook ad agency should just be setting out the door?
So there's no Nathan's way, right? Everyone has their own system, their own process, and we work with a lot of Facebook ad agencies. And you're gonna basically, the more defined your process is, the cheaper people you can hire to follow that process. So a lot of that is figuring out what your process is, hiring people to repeat those tasks, and then start building your own Rolodex of freelancers that you can count on. Maybe you have 2 video editors, maybe you have 3 graphic designers, 4 content writers, and as you get new clients, as you onboard them, you can reach out to them and maybe you start getting steady work, or who's ever available first grabs that project. And then you might have some experts to help you offer some new services or to handle accounts and let you take on bigger and bigger clients. So a lot of it depends on where you're at with your agency and structuring it accordingly.
Very, very interesting. So we're getting more questions about your journey. Apparently, like, more people are interested in like your Amazon drop shipping journey. So you started your Amazon drop shipping journey. You tried 4 or 5 different things. You ended up hitting like the baby niche. And so how did you end up going? What was that like hockey stick moment where you're like, oh my God, this is working? How did you get that going? Was it like Facebook ads? Was it just like consistently that customer experience? Like, what was that hockey stick moment? How was that experience? What were your thoughts and feelings about that?
So this started in 2008. Facebook ads wasn't a thing back then. So I pretty much, it was time. I would find catalogs of baby products. I would find deals for baby products online. I would find the contact information for manufacturers of baby products. And I would reach out to them. I would get lists of products. And it would be me sitting in the back of class, not paying attention to my teacher, just listing lots of products. And when something would work, I would write it down and say, hey, this is a selling product. Now let's try to tweak the price and see how many sales you can get. And if stuff didn't work after a week or two, I would take it down and list something else. So it was a lot of manual work and time and effort trying to get it up there and coming up with a process that worked for me, and eventually teaching other people to follow that process. Hey, at 10 o'clock every morning, we change these prices. Hey, at 11 o'clock, we go through the new products that came in and we list them. At noon, we go through the best-selling products from yesterday and we make sure that they're all open and priced correctly today. So you come up with that system to continue to perfect it over and over and over.
That's super interesting. I like the idea of like you're literally like in class not paying attention and like, hold on, I'm making money on the internet, so leave me alone. And so I had like a same experience. I had like a Groupon knockoff in like MBA school. Like I was selling gift certificates to restaurants, and I like an email list. I would send an email, and like people would buy my stuff. And I was literally like in some like communications class. We were talking about how to communicate in the corporate political world, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, that's not exciting. And I would just like slide my phone down to refresh like the browser, and it'd be like 10 gift certificates, 20 gift certificates, 30 gift certificates. So I was like, use my calculator, I'd be like, oh my god, I made $150 in 15 minutes. School is fucking stupid. I don't know why I'm paying attention, right? And then like everyone would be like, what are you doing? I'm making money on the internet. Leave me alone, right? And that's like a really cool experience. So I literally like picture you in your head, like doing the same thing. Like the professor looks at you, you have to shut your laptop and like risk breaking the keys and stuff like that. So like we've got, that's just like the internet marketing experience, I think.
Well, imagine the kids in class looking over my shoulder, seeing me just searching through baby products with 100 tabs open.
They're like, are you pregnant? No, it's for the internet. I'm selling stuff on the internet. Okay, sure, whatever you say, buddy. So let's see. So we've got a cool group of people watching right now. We got Syed, Kareem, Gene, my VA. We got Steph, Jerry, David, Nestor, Reno, Doug, Lance, Omar, Tony, Carlos, and a bunch of others. So guys, now is the last call for any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, ideas. We're coming to the end of this 45-minute interview. I do want to say Nathan has offered two really cool things. The first is like those strategy sessions. So if you type in the group chat, #NathanMyFace, there's always something about a face, NathanMyFace, the first 3 people to comment that, I will put you in touch with Nathan, and you'll get a free one-on-one 15-minute group session or one-on-one personal session. And you get to ask him questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, ideas about hiring, firing, being a good hirer as an agency owner, good hire as a freelancer, or even like just ask too many questions about his like decade-old journey, like 10 years ago at the Amazon FBA, or how he's growing and scaling, things like that. So just type #NathanMyFace. There we go. We've got a couple coming in, things like that. And then I'll connect the first 3 people. But Nathan's also got something interesting that you wanted to do with like a gift certificate or something like that for FreeeUp.
Yeah, so if you go to freeup.com with 3 E's, create a free account right now. It only takes a minute. You get a $25 credit just for creating an account. You can use it for any hiring needs that you have. It will never expire. It'll be on your account. And for the first 10 people that create an account right now, we're going to double it. So you get a $50 credit to try out the FreeeUp marketplace.
So they have to go to freeup.com and then just create, do they have like a gift code or something like that they have to type in?
Yep, put in Jeff Miller 25.
Okay, cool. So, all right. So if you go to FreeeUp right now, create an account and use the gift code Jeff Miller 25, you'll get $25 off, or it'll just give you $25 to spend on a freelancer. And if you're one of the first,
credit will just be added to your account. Whenever you get your first invoice, $25 will get deducted.
Beautiful. And if you're one of the first 10 people on here, that 25 will be doubled to 50, which is pretty darn cool. So we've got 3 people right out of the gate. We got Daniel, Dylan, and Kareem, and those are the 3 people that I'm connected with Nathan. Sorry, Daniel, Dylan, and Carlos. Kareem didn't type in the word correctly or in time. And I'm going to connect the 3 of you one-on-one with Nathan, and you guys can figure out and pick Nathan's brain and do all that fun stuff. And for everybody who's still like on the fence about creating an account, just create an account, and you will get $50 added to it if you're the first 10 people. So Nathan, I want to say, was there any last closing questions, comments, concerns about somebody watching this right now that's either starting an agency, growing an agency, or looking to hire or fire or get paid on FreeeUp?
Yeah, so there's only one way to scale a business, and it's eventually hiring. I mean, there's very few $5 million a year agencies out there that are solo operations. You're going to have to hire people. You're going to have to get people you trust. You're going to have to take some risk. And I really look forward to helping you guys grow your agency. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can check out the FreeeUp YouTube channel, the FreeeUp blog, add me on social media. We want to provide as much content as possible to you guys to help you scale your agencies.
Very, very cool. So something I'll be doing later this week inside of my inner circle is going through the hiring and firing and vetting process with FreeeUp. I think it'd be really cool because I think we talked last week, and while I've done that, I wrote down like 5 things like I wish somebody else did for me, right? And one of them is like I'm starting to do shock and awe boxes. From like Dan Kenny talks about like when somebody hires you, you send them a shock and awe box. So like I'm not showing the cover, but like look, there's butts on it, right? And so like I'm looking at this going, man, I wish somebody like help me figure this out. And so that's like on the to-do list. And what you mentioned earlier is like if you have a great process, you can hire for cheaper. If you don't, you have to pay like a lot of money right out of the gate. So like I'll be doing that and documenting inside my inner circle. But yeah, Nathan, it's super cool. I'm super psyched for your success. It's always awesome to get connected with you and people like on your journey. And just kind of in summary, talked about 3 really cool things. The first is what your journey going from essentially a cease and desist letter, buying and selling books, to an Amazon dropshipping and doing $25 million. The 3 big problems that you had trying to hire people and get moving in the right direction to grow FreeeUp, and the right way that you grew FreeeUp from 0 to 800 grand a month, which for the most part was just podcasts like this, right?
Podcasts, webinars, partnerships, lead generation, cold calls, referrals.
Like that old school marketing stuff that fell out of favor. You know, the hard work part. Look at that, right?
The hustle, yep.
Very cool. So Nathan, I appreciate the love. I appreciate the time. We're going to bring this sucker to an end. Nathan, stay on board real fast. I'm just going to click end broadcast. But for everybody watching, I appreciate the time. This video will be inside of the public group. You can reach it at any time, and I'll be sending those invites to the 3 people. And last call, if you set up an account and use the code JeffMiller25, you'll get $25 added to it. And for the first 10 people, you'll get $50 added to it. So that's it, everybody. Kick ass, take some names. Have a good time, Nathan. Stay on the line, and see you later, everybody. Bye.